Adebayo has been waiting in the wings, and I can't wait to know him, to devour him with my words and my questions.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
It's good to be here.
You're welcome.
As I say, good things come to those who wait.
Well, we've been waiting. We've been waiting. And it's good. It's good. Now, Adebayo Jones.
Yes.
You hear that name? Yes, it's a mix. It's a mixed grill. You have the Jones there.
Yes.
Are you a Lagosian?
I'm from Ijebu in Ogun State.
He's an Ijebu man. So we'll cast that one off. Yes. You are not from Lagos.
My grandmother is from Lagos, but you know, as we trace only through the family, the father's line. So my grandmother is from Ikorodu in Baiku, and then my grandfather.
Okay, so I'm not so far away from the
You're
truth.
not so far away.
Why I asked was because of the Jones. How did you get Jones?
That actually came from university.
Okay.
And you know, Grace Jones was a big thing and influence then in those days, the early 80s. So we all used to have the severe Grace Jones haircut, you know. So and that was where the Jones got attached to the name. And so years later, when the brand was being created, I was sitting actually with some family friends, a German family, and she said, "Why not Adebayo, your second name, and Adebayo and Jones? That's a brilliant combination." And I thought, wow, that's right, and that's how the name was born. And I'm glad that we made the decision there.
Because that name, once you hear it, you know that you want to know the person more.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just a brand.
Because my Christian name's Edward, and imagine if I turned up and I said I'm Edward Jones, probably sound like, you know, an Englishman.
You sound like somebody from the British colony, yes.
You know, but so I love the Adebayo. It's an influence from, you know, the heritage, and then of course the Jones part.
Do you still pay royalties to that person who?
I still admire her as much as I did those days.
Admire her only.
And appreciate and adore her.
In cash and
in every way.
All right. So Adebayo Jones, it's a name that's come to stay.
Amen.
Quite a number of people. Oh, he's sounding. Quite a number of people. Yes, they know the name. They know that, okay, he's a fashion designer. But
yes,
here on the show today, we want to know more about Adebayo Jones. We want to start off with, okay, yes, you're into fashion.
Yes.
Why fashion? Fashion
has always been a lifelong passion. It was my mother's profession, and I watched her, you know, practice during the times that she did, and I got inspired from that. And it's the greatest thing anyone can discover is to discover purpose early in life, and I'm glad I did. From an early age, I remember the story of trying to get this T-shirt that I saw when I was about 10 years old, and I rushed back home and said, "Mama, I want some money, I need to buy this T-shirt." And she said, "You don't need something else, you know, you have enough stuff." And I said, "Please, I need," and I niggled, and she gave me the money to get it. And I came back excitedly to show her this T-shirt that I'd gotten, and on the front of it were the words in bright, bold colors, "I'm really famous." So I look back at that incident and I think, maybe from that early stage I knew I was going to do something along the bright lights of fame and fashion and entertainment. And from then on, I remember being a kid, I would create outfits from newspapers and make my siblings wear it, and we would have mock fashion shows. So I think life and destiny and purpose were all aligning themselves and setting the stage for where we are today.
If it wasn't fashion, what would you have done?
I think I would have gone into music, because I sing and I write music. I gospel and jazz and soul. I perform regularly. Most people don't know about that, but I'm working on putting the first single together and have an album by the end of 2015. That's in the pipeline.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Can I put you on the spot right now? Can I put you on the spot right now? Can you do a song for us? Just even if it's a minute.
I do a minute?
Yeah.
Oh.
And don't worry, I'll be your backup singer.
I hope you count your blessings and name them one by one. Thecla, I hope you count your blessings to see what God has done, 'cause all you have to do is keep counting your blessings and just number them one by one. And it will amaze you to see what God has done
Wow.
for you.
Wow. Without autotune or any of those technological
I started in the
buffers.
choir when I was about 8. And then I was in a band in university, and I was in another band. After that, I started a choir in my local church in London. So I think that the musical part has always been there.
But
And,
do you think your kind of music, do you think it will sell here in Nigeria?
I think that for everything, there is always space for you to innovate and to carve a space for yourself when you're different. Why be like everybody else? Look at Asha. She came in and delivered something that was different. And she always reminds me of Tracy Tracy Chapman. Yes, who came in with a brand of something that was different and distinctive then. And she's just carved that niche out for herself. And people know to respect her talent, her creativity, and the difference that she brings in, the dynamism that she brings into the music industry.
So we're going to be looking forward to R&B from your stable, right?
It's more gospel, jazz influence, a little bit of soul and blues. I love.
No secular.
No, not so much secular. I love the jazz, the blues, the soul, and the gospel fusion of things.
Okay. So for how long have you been doing fashion?
About 30 years.
Man, you're an old man.
I believe I'm getting younger. About 30 years.
You're an old man. When did you start?
I started.
How old were you when you started?
In my 20s.
So you're in your 50s?
Yes.
Oh, and you don't look it.
Thank you.
Have you done any surgery?
I wish I had the funds to. Or I was brave enough to. No, I haven't. I just believe you live well. You know, occasionally I might have a drink, but I don't smoke. I don't keep too late nights except I'm working. Just basically try and look after myself, exercise well, watch my diet, and drink lots of
Maybe I'll
water.
come and take some lessons from you. So that people like
You're
us
doing
can-
great. Absolutely
we
great.
can be half this size.
You have great skin. You're
Thank
beautiful. You have,
You want to start from the... Is this part 2 of the flattery?
parts too, yes.
Okay, thank God you're admitting it. Now, your kind of fashion, I mean, when we think of Adebayo Jones, what should really come to the minds of Nigerians? What do you want Nigerians to remember you by? I mean...
I love to make people look even more beautiful than they already are. I would believe the ethos of the brand is to instill confidence in anyone who wears anything that I create. They say confidence radiates when you look good and you feel good about yourself. So I would like to believe that we get the message across that we create things that are beautiful, wearable, versatile, functional, practical, and classic, and clean. And, they endure the physical changes and the physical wear and seasonal changes in fashion. So it's not going to be, everybody's doing ruffles, we've done ruffles. Therefore, when the season is out, you can't wear something you've purchased from us. Anything you pick up from us is timeless and classic, and it will make you look beautiful and instill confidence. And those are the values that I think I like to
You just
pass out
mentioned
there.
clean.
Yes.
Clean. This clean thing is actually missing in our fashion trend these days.
Yes.
So how do we correct it? How do we, allow for more of decency in our dress sense?
And I think part of that has come from those who have influenced me in terms of my fashion and the way that I think. The late Yves Saint Laurent, the Givenchy's, the Balenciaga and stuff. And I'm influenced by the work of those people because the lines are usually very clean and, fine, but they work with luscious, beautiful, luxurious fabrics. They use that to interpret and to convey what they're trying to say or what they're trying to interpret in terms of the collection. So if you have beautiful fabrics and clean lines, you don't need to do too crazy. You just need to make things that are wearable, practical, functional, and remember that fashion is a business. You have to sell. So those are the things that come in and define the ethos of what I'm doing. And for the society here, you see so much. Sometimes you see those magazines about outfits that people have worn. And I'm thinking, goodness, how many ideas are going to come into one same garment? So once we understand the values of streamlining and redefining the essence of what we call glamour and style, it would help a great deal.
Interesting. So what's your assessment of the Nigerian fashion scene in comparison
Yes.
with the world fashion scene?
I think we kept coming along. We're a fashionable nation. We love fashion. We like to explore and to experiment, and anything that's trending, Nigerians have it first. We have a lot of people who are able to to live this lifestyle conveniently, though not everybody can. But I think we love fashion, and I see more of the designers going outside now, doing shows, showing on international platforms, and thereby it's creating that opportunity where they know they have to compete favorably, not just in terms of ideas, thinking what they're showing out there, but also in terms of the quality of the things that they're taking out to compete with. You're going to go out there, it had better look good, it had better be properly finished, decently finished, so that when a buyer or somebody comes in and say, I like that, they pick up the garment, they look at it, it's meeting with the standards.
Okay, you have been in the fashion world for 30 years, you said?
Yes.
I want to believe you have evolved.
Yes.
I don't want to believe you have stuck with what
you have to keep evolving.
So can you fill us in?
You have to keep evolving, and you have to keep, looking at ways of improving and making yourself better, because the key thing is there are always people who are behind you, and you have a crown, and you don't want to lay the crown down. So you have to think, okay, I need to get better, I need to evolve myself, I need to make myself get more informed about things, technological advancements. We talked earlier, and you're a tech person, and you love things. And so now these days I give speeches, keynote speeches, I do lectures, I do training workshops, I mentor, and I make sure that I'm well aware of what is going on so that I can meet up with the challenges of that position where people say, come and give a keynote speech. You want to talk about technology and fashion, the fusion between having the tech industry in the past. A mobile phone was just a tool, a means of communication. Now it defines the status of style in terms of what kind of phone you have, what make, the build, the colors, even the casing, the accessories that go with it. So we find that technology, fashion, and style, there's a fusion and there's a balance, and you have to make sure you're up to date in every one of those areas. Even with fashion, there are technological advancements with fabrics such as the solar fabrics that were invented. The idea is that you can wear this fabric and it stores enough energy, and you can then use it, to maybe even charge your phones when you get home. So
Wow.
the things coming in. Look at the Google Watch, and what it does, the Google Eyewear. So we have all those things coming up. You have to be on top of the game. If you're not, you're going to be left behind. And I certainly do not want to be left behind.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Now you're based in London.
Yes.
So when are we expecting you to finally come back to Nigeria? Because we need these people. We need people like you to
The
come down
great
here.
thing is that, part of the brand strategy is to have something on base. So, my dear fellow lovely Nigerians, we're going to have an outfit on the ground for Adebayo Jones before the end of the first half of the year. We're working on that right now. So you get to see lots more of me, and people can also come in and share part of the dream with us when we have a base here. So we're working on that.
You've made 2 promises now.
Yes.
You're releasing
The album
the album,
before the end of the year,
and then
we
you're
have the
also
base.
pitching your tent.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Once you speak it, you've got to make it happen, because as you speak it, it aligns with the physical, and so you have to make sure that there's no shift in the metaphysical. When you say it, it has to happen.
That's gospel, according to Reverend Jones.
Light years from now.
Oh my God. So, are you married?
I was, but not at the moment.
Oh, not anymore.
Oh,
Are you
we're
planning
working
to get
on
married
it.
again?
Oh, absolutely. I love family life. It's great.
You have kids?
And nobody loves being single. I have loads of children. Loads of children, my godchildren, and my nieces, my nephews, and stuff.
Wow.
I have 18 godchildren now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're
it's
under
great.
your stable.
Yes,
You take care of them?
No, they're with their parents, but I do a good role in mentoring, in loving, and looking after them as well, the best I can, to be the very reason why I was chosen as a godfather.
Interesting.
Thank you.
So, what's your ideal woman?
Well, somebody peaceful, gentle, easygoing, supportive. But key thing, you must love God. If you don't, we can't get on.
The other woman didn't have all of it.
Well, I think it was quite different then. I was trying to find my fit, and they say it takes two to tango. So maybe I was working too hard too.
And you weren't giving too much time to family
Possibly.
life. Oh, dear. Anyway, it's a good thing you've learned your lessons.
Thank you.
Moving forward, and obviously you have found some kind of spiritual...
It's always been there. I think the God factor is what I'll always be grateful for. They say, what is the most valuable thing that you've taken from your parents? And I'd say to be made aware of who God is in our lives, the relationship, and to maintain a relationship with God and to put him at the forefront of everything that you do. Because it's not by power, it's not by might, it's by God's ability to bless you. If I see so many of my contemporaries who probably went to fashion college, most of them are not doing fashion. And when I look back at the journey, how far I've come, and some of the experiences which were not so pleasant, but the ability to stay resilient, to stay focused, and for every time I thought of giving up, to think by say, how do I account myself to God for giving up on a purpose that was aligned for me? And that is what has sustained me, to always know that I'm not alone, regardless of what I'm experiencing or going through, and to know that by my side, all of the time, there's somebody who loves me unconditionally and doesn't fail. I don't think I could have it better than that.
Yes, he's also a motivational speaker.
Thank you. You're very kind.
In fact, I've picked a lot of virtues from you now.
Thank you.
Fashion designer, pastor, reverend, motivational speaker, and even a musician. Even a musician. So
All
what
is
next?
grace.
What next? What next?
All is grace. I'm looking forward to a fantastic year. There's so many things that we are lined up. And I was sitting with my brand strategist, and we were working on those things even yesterday in the morning and planning the whole year. And there were some other things we wanted to fit in, and there's just no space. It's going to be a fantastic year. You know, I know that I can feel it in my bones. Not because I can, but because I have got to do it with me.
The average Nigerian woman, when you see her,
Yes.
the average Nigerian woman, the average Nigerian man, when you see them dress, what comes to your mind as a fashion designer?
Well, I think we're very fashionable people. The women do try to look glamorous, to spend a lot in looking good. The hair, the makeup, and things like nails and all those things are very, very, you can see that it's very, very vital. And in terms of style, you know, and most of the designers I talk to are, in fact, I would say are choked over with work, and they can't even meet the challenges. And this is coming from everywhere. So we are, you know, a nation that loves fashion. But what needs to happen, people need to learn partly as well to develop their own style. Not to be like, I want to be like so-and-so, but to know what suits the shape, the body type, the personality, and to reflect their own individuality and style. And that is what makes you you and distinctive. All the people that we celebrate now, gone, and those who are still here, it's because they influenced us with one thing or the other about style, personal style, reflecting individuality. And that's what each person needs to understand. Know yourself and define who you are.
In the course of your endeavor
Yes.
in the fashion world, have you ever been shocked fashion-wise?
Oh, yeah.
You've had fashion shock.
You see things that shock you and you think, well, okay, fashion, you know, people have ways of expressing themselves and what they're thinking, because, you know, with this creative things, you're taking things that are unseen and you're bringing them into the physical. But like I said earlier, what you are exposed to, what defines what comes out of you, you know. It's like that verse in the Bible that says, out of the abundance of the mouth speaks. And it's the same thing. You know, what you expose yourself to is what defines what exactly people get to see about your work. I am about love. I am about celebrating beauty and celebrating fineness and good things. So when you see that, when I take those influences, that is what comes out in my work. But I've definitely seen things that shock me. But I'm not going to talk about that.
so that you don't shock us off the stage.
Exactly.
Wow, it's been such a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
It's been such an honor having Adebayo Jones on set.
Thank
but
you.
before we go, on a final note,
Yes.
what do you want to be remembered by?
I want to be remembered as somebody who came and made a difference, you know, in terms of my work as a creative, as an artist, who had a brilliant job, did a brilliant job of making people look beautiful, who enhanced confidence. I want to be remembered as somebody who came around and mentored people, empowered people, encouraged those who also wanted to live the same dream, to find their foot and to know how to get there. I want to be somebody who is known for giving back, which is why I do a lot of charity work apart from the mentoring, because when you've been blessed, you have to remember to send the elevator back down. And those are the key things. And for someone who is genuinely caring, who is a fun person, someone who loved life and loved to live it to the extent that they not only affected the people around them, but the world at large.
Speaking of blessing,
Yes.
how rich is Adebayo Jones?
Let's say God is good. If you can afford the things you want in life and you have a decent home and you can eat good food and, you know, and you feel like, you know, giving yourself little treats and you can afford that, hey, I think one is blessed enough.
All right, it's been a pleasure having you on Saturday night.
Absolutely.
Yes, let me tap this hand. I'll go and laminate it. I'll put it at home so that the blessings you have, I would at least be part of it. You know,
We're already part of it.
Yes,
Thank you for
yes,
having me.
Thank you so much.
It's been a
an
pleasure.
honor, yes, having
Thank you.
And so, viewers, on that note, we want to say thank you so much for staying tuned to this week's edition of Saturday Night. Until next week, like I'd always say, be kind to one another. See you next time.